I think the Jamal Hill and Jiri Prochazka fight definitely deserves its own video for the battle of the Chama #1 contender spot, the Chama payday, the blue and the turquoise and silver panty night that that Alex Pereira has become, like, as far as the higher weight classes, he is the money fight now. He is the Connor of the higher weight classes, and all the way from middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight. Everybody wants to fight him because they know they're going to get that Chama money, and including Jamal Hill. That's like he's. I mean, you could say your boy is extra thirsty for that fight. Like not only just to get his revenge, but he knows he's going to get paid fat, and that's the biggest payday in those heavier weight divisions. So it's like basically like the Chama. It's for the Chama belt, and he's the Chama payday, and like, yeah, those are, like, Alex Pereira put out that tweet like a month ago that everybody got all, like, Jamal Hill got salty over, but he's like, best of luck to my two sons, like, who's fighting, for this opportunity to fight him again if he gets past Ankalaev, because that's not set in stone. That's on Ariel Helwani, so who knows what bullshit. You can't always believe everything Ariel says. He's always trying to break some type of news or do something. That's why Dana don't like his ass to begin with, with the whole Brock Lesnar thing. I get it. He's a reporter. He's this and that, but, you know, I won't even get into what Ariel. I don't even listen to Ariel anymore, but, uh, but so who knows if that's true or not? We'll believe that when a contract's signed and it's actually announced by Dana White. So who knows? This could be for the next fight against for Alex Pereira, which doesn't really make sense for Jiri, because he did lose twice to him. So it's like he does need a couple wins, I think, to get back there. And I think, Jamal Hill, I still honestly feel, I know he's ranked third. I still think unless he does something crazy impressive in this fight and, like, smokes Jiri, I don't see him being the next contender. I think he needs another win, too, because, I mean, Jamal Hill, yeah, he's ranked third. But before that title bout where he basically kind of got gifted that title shot, let's be real. He was sixth or seventh. He got that title shot, because of injuries and stuff like that after Jiri relinquished the belt. Yes, he beat Glover. He dominated Glover. He won every round. He won every round. It was a decisive victory, domination, all that. But I mean, other than that, his best win is, I won't say his best named opponent. I should say ranked opponent is Johnny Walker, and that was vicious. I mean, he fucking, Johnny Walker is always very animated when he gets knocked out, and he was in that as well. But that was definitely not. I'm not saying that didn't age well because Johnny Walker. I just think Johnny Walker's. Honestly, I don't think 205 is his weight division. The guy's a freaking monster. He's like a giant, dude. He's like 6'7". He's huge. His legs are like freaking longer than my whole freaking body, and I'm like 5'11", so it's like if we're 6'7", all legs, I mean, he's just huge, like that guy should be in heavyweight. I think his chin suffers for that at 205. Look at Alex Pereira. His chin wasn't the same at 185 as it is at 205. He's eating some shots at 205. He's sparring with heavyweight boxers and eating their shots. I think that's the same with Johnny Walker because he has so much potential and talent and just athleticism. He's crazy, like just crazy ass gifted. I think he should be at heavyweight, so we'll see. So I'm not knocking Jamal Hill for that. I mean, he fought the opponent who was in front of him, very dangerous opponent because Johnny Walker's still dangerous, and he knocked him out in freaking emphatic fashion, like destroyed him, but first round knockout. But what I'm saying is that's his only win in the top 15 at this moment, like there's nobody else that's even barely in the UFC at this point. So, I mean, I still think he has a little bit of work to do. Unless he does go out there and just smoke Jiri, then yeah. But he needs to beat a Jan. He needs to fight a Jan, a Rakic, one of these guys. Rakic just lost, but just to show he's at that level, I think it needs 2 more wins. But we'll see, though. We'll see what happens. And we'll see if Ankalaev even gets that shot. At the same time, Alex Pereira, I mean, yeah, he's just sitting and waiting and watching what unfolds. Hey, yo, welcome to another MMA Grind. Schizo Jits here. There's a UFC 311 prediction show. We all know Arman Tsarukyan pulled out 24 hours notice, basically right before the weigh-ins. Didn't even show up to weigh-ins. Injured his back. That's a story. MMA experts kind of a couple days back had a story and showed a little bit of staph on Arman's chest, so it could have been that. We're not sure exactly what the story is. We just know that there's a new opponent, Renato Money Moicano. Show me that money, brother. He's ready to go. You know what I'm saying? So this guy is pumped up. He's always a gamer. Islam Makhachev, another one. You got to take your hat off to Islam. Islam will fight anybody. He believes he's the best in the world, and he doesn't care who the opponent is. And he wanted to put on a show for the fans regardless. He didn't want them to miss out. So, I mean, you got to give a lot of respect to Islam for that. He's there. He showed up. He's ready to fight, no matter who it is. And same thing for Renato, who, I mean, this is a chance of a lifetime. He's going to get rich off this. He's going to get his money fight. Regardless, he'll probably get some pay-per-view points either way. I'm not sure if the challenger gets pay-per-view points or just a champion, but either way, stepping up and saving the card. He was going to fight Beneil Dariush, second fight of the main card. So Beneil, I guess UFC, Dana White, they said they're going to take care of Beneil. He's not going to have to fight after all. He did make weight as well. He made 155. So it could have been either if Beneil was still on his run from a few years back, we were all like speculating, before he lost a couple in a row, like Beneil could be the guy to challenge Islam if he had still been on that run. Man, he would have been right there. He could have stepped up to the plate instead, but they got Renato Money Moicano. He's ready to go. He said tomorrow is going to be his night, and he's going to take his bout. I'm not going to talk about all the fights here. I'm just going to do a couple predictions here. Probably the main card. The first fight on the main card is Kevin Holland against RDR, Renier de Ridder. So that's a Dutch fighter. I seen him fight one time when he fought Gerald Meerschaert last time. He had a different hairstyle, all that. But he was pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. He took him down, ended up getting that victory. Kevin Holland coming off a loss. Holland's kind of like a win one, lose one at this point. He's kind of been that way for a while. Always a fan favorite, big mouth. I don't know if you guys saw him in a Rampage kind of get into it. The first maybe 15, 20 minutes of a Jackson podcast yesterday. That was a little like kind of tough to watch at first just because, man, disrespecting your boy Rampage, everyone's boy. Rampage is the man. You know what I mean? He's a legend. And Holland, I felt a certain type of way. They kind of bumped heads a little bit for a while. See, by the end of the show, they fist bumped and got it out. Rampage, obviously, he's a funny guy. He tries to be funny a lot, but Kevin Holland, who knows? Maybe he's cutting weight. He's got that no chill. Like, he likes to joke around himself, but maybe just don't like to get joked about or on. But like what he was saying was the way, like if you don't know me, it's kind of weird for you to just like start trying to clown me, before we meet. But it is what it is. It seems like they squashed the beef. It is, like, how can you not like the way Kevin Holland fights? He steps up to fight every single time. This fight right here, I don't know. Like, if he could keep it on the feet, if you look at the tail of the tape, Kevin Holland, 81-inch reach advantage over a 78 for RDR. 6'3" against 6'4", so they're about the same size. RDR looks like a big guy, 18-2, coming from ONE FC. He was a champion over there. But Kevin Holland, like I said, he's kind of been like a hit and miss. Either he's all in or if stuff start going his way sometimes, or he got injured last time, I believe. He got his ribs cracked or busted or whatever, had to pull out after, I think it was one round. So, it's kind of hit and miss. Like I said, like if he shows up and you stand and it's a stand-up fight and he's in it to win it, I should say, then he's got it. You know what I'm saying? So if he can keep this fight standing long enough, that power, he has a reach, he has power, he has a big right hand. If he could keep it standing long enough, I think he can do some damage and hurt RDR. But I just feel like the blueprint's a little bit out on Kevin Holland. Like, not that he can't. He has a pretty good jiu-jitsu game. He's a black belt under Travis Lutter, so he knows what he's doing on the ground. He just don't like to be there. So it's like, that's the thing. If RDR can take him down, make it a boring fight, lay on him, hold him down, whatever, maybe go for submissions here and there. Holland does have pretty good submission defense. He don't really throw up a lot of submissions because usually he's just trying to get back up. But we'll see what happens there. I bet he lost a lot of fans after that Jackson podcast. Not that he cares, because he's just going to be him. He's going to talk his shit and say what he's got to say. And I believe he's going to be talking in this fight too. As win or lose or draw, he's just going to be him, be exciting and do what he does. But I'm going to root for Kevin Holland. He's from the IE. He's from Cali. He's in Texas now, Texas native now. Or I would say Cali native, but now he's in Texas. But either way, I'm a root for him. There's more of a pick with my heart. I don't have money on this fight, so I could pick Kevin Holland to get this done.
And I'm going to have to say a TKO because if Kevin Holland wins, it's going to have to be on the feet. But I kind of have a feeling it might go the other way as well. So it could be RDR taking him down, make it a 3-round decision or whatever, maybe some ground and pound here and there, but mostly just laying on him. I could see that happening too, or go for submissions. So, I mean, this is like a pick-up fight. A lot of the fights on this card are definitely like 50-50 or, very close, could go either way. And despite what the odds show, on most of these fights on this card. But, I would have to I'm going to go with my boy, Kevin Holland, regardless of, disrespecting Rampage. Hey, I've been there before myself. I disrespected Rampage long ago. He probably would remember it, honestly, because it was that bad. It was like at San Manuel, India, but it was San Manuel back then. Now it's Yamava. But we're at like King of the Cage type fights, and we kind of had a little. It wasn't even nothing big. I was trying to just be respectful, but I know it came off as big time disrespectful, and he probably would remember it because it was kind of some dickheadish shit. But I won't go there. Maybe if I ever sit down with Rampage or anything, we could talk about it and see if he does remember it. Maybe he won't. But that was back when he was still in Pride, hadn't even come to the UFC yet. But so, I mean, Rampage, he's getting a little older. I feel like you could tell he was definitely bothered on that podcast, but it seems like they squashed it by the end of it. And I ended up watching the whole damn thing, just to see. It was a little tough to watch at first just because, you could tell just there was a lot of tension there built up, and anything could happen at any time, and no one's going to back down. You got 2 alphas, 2 fighters. They're not going to back down. They're going to keep bringing it, the disrespect on both sides. But, unfortunate to see, but we'll see. It seems like they all made up. And also Kevin Holland at Mighty Mouse podcast, the Mighty Cast, that was a fire-ass interview. I love that one. So talk about hunting. I'm trying to get into hunting for years myself. So, but yeah, that's the first fight on the main card. Let's look at the next one. We have Jailton, Almeida, and Serghei Spivac. This one's coming. This one basically got bumped up because they were going to fight on the prelims, and this is replacing Renato, Moicano, and Benil Dariush. So, you look at it, they're both about the same size, 6'3", 6'3", 79-inch reach to 78 for Spivac and in Almeida's favor. Weight-wise, Spivac is he's a beast. He's big. He got about a 12-pound weight advantage on that. And he's a gamer. But Jailton Almeida has kind of been on a tear. He's huge. He's explosive. So, I'm looking for Almeida. This is like heavyweight fights. Anything could happen. This probably is not going the distance. I would say within 2 rounds, Jailton Almeida is going to get this done. He's going to get the knockout or get the ground and pound TKO type finish. Jailton Almeida all the way. I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time on a lot of these fights because there's a couple fights that I do want to talk about more than anything. And, we'll get to the next one. Will be the main fight that I want to talk about. Yeah, so like I was saying, I think both these guys, this is for the Chama bout. I wore this shirt on the honor of Alex Pereira's, according to his tweet, his son's fighting for his a chance to be a number 1 contender for that Chama money. Poetan, wife gave me this. I'm not a fucking nut hugger, nothing like that, but I do love me some Poetan. Chama. But yeah, this is basically for the Chama belt. You know what I mean? Like whoever wins this fight might be next in line after Ankalaev. Like I was saying before, it's not set in stone. Can't really believe everything Ariel Hawani says, not until you hear from the boss's Uncle Dana's mouth himself. We don't know if it is going down. But this fight right here has got me pumped. This is the fight that I'm looking forward to the most. Jiri Prochazka, who lost 2 out of his last 3, both against Alex Pereira. Jamahal Hill, who's lost his last fight to Alex Pereira as well, UFC 300. We all know that was like both these guys, got memed, basically. Hill probably got a little bit worse. That was probably like 4 different memes and 1 knockout. And just the cope has been crazy. It's I seen Jamahal Hill. I don't know if you guys seen him on MMA Guru, but I was like, man, it's making me freaking like Jamahal Hill all over again because like the coping and all that. I don't want to say excuses. It don't seem like he made it. The main excuse that he could have used is just not even an excuse, but a fact was his injury. Of course, he wasn't 100%. It was 9 months after a major freaking injury. That's life changing. And if he had just said that, hey, you know what, I wasn't 100%. I'm not making excuses, but he was a better man that night. I think it would have been cool. But I think Hill actually went full Hill. That's what me and my son were talking about. I think it had to do with that, and I think he's just trying to stay relevant, obviously, and he's doing a good job. Everyone's talking about him. Everyone's seeing him go to the gym, and Alex Pereira throw the gloves at him, say, all right, let's go right now then, like, let's spar, and then Jamahal Hill's like, well, for free? Like, so I get it. I kind of do get it, Pereira kind of called his bluff a little bit. Like, we don't need gloves, and that means you're going to fight, right? And you just said for free that you don't want to fight for free, but now you don't need gloves. Like, he didn't want to put on the gloves, but he wanted, like, Pereira to take off his gloves to get to fight. I mean, it's kind of like, come on, dude, let's just. I don't know. I just feel like Pereira's a little bit more humble in that situation. He's just kind of like, he'll spar anybody. You seen, like, he even talked about wanting to train with Izzy, who knocked him the hell out in his last time they fought. No ego there. You know what I mean? It's just all about whatever. Let's go. Like, let's work. Let's get some work in. And I respect that about Pereira, but not everybody's like that. Jamahal Hill knows this is the time, this is the money, the fight that he wants. So that's why he's, pushing so hard for this rematch. The revenge factor, yeah, because it was some fishy shit. Don't get me wrong. Like, Herb Dean tried to step in, but before, like, and Alex Pereira, if you look at the video, he did take a hop, but probably at the same time that he was checking his cup is when he took the hop forward, and then he went like that as soon as Herb came in, and he actually took one half step back, and then they went. So, I mean, he might have took a half step forward. Like, if you took one step forward and a half step back, that's like a half step forward. I get it. He closed a little bit of distance, but at the same time, he was like that, and he said, no, I'm good. I mean, I get it. There was a little weird situation there, like it was a pause in the action. Referee might have said fight or stop or whatever, but, I mean, Alex Pereira didn't even turn and look at, the ref or Dean or anything. He was just like, I'm good, just like basically with his peripherals and kept his eyes on the target. So, I mean, I get Jamal's, his thing. It was a close fight. Up until then, it was back and forth. It was tit for tat. Everyone, Hill landed a leg kick, Pereira landed a leg kick. Hill landed to the body, Pereira landed to the body. I mean, it was just going back and forth. But I just feel like Pereira, it was only a matter of time before he did get to that distance. So, once you do, then what's going to happen, So, I don't know. We'll just see if they ever fight again. Who knows? Jamahal Hill thinks if he does get a decisive victory here or something like fucking exciting or whatever, like if he makes a meme out of Jiri, knocks him silly, whatever, knocks him out in exciting fashion, then he'll get an immediate rematch with not immediate, but another rematch with Pereira. But like I said, Ankalaev might be next in line, and either one of these guys, like I was saying before, I think they still both have a little bit of work to do. Like at least a win or two after this, but especially Jiri. I mean, he's lost 2 out of 3. Got knocked out. I mean, I think Jiri needs this win a lot more than Jamahal Hill. Obviously, Jamahal Hill, like he's kind of like one of the most hated fighters right now because of everything. And I'm not gonna lie, like I said, listen to the Guru, it made me start liking him again. I'm kind of pulling for him, but at the same time, that doesn't mean I'm picking him to win this fight. Before I was kind of like, oh, Jiri all day, just because the whole coping thing and all that, but I mean, I kind of see where he's coming from too. He's trying to sell a fight, trying to sell a rematch, and get that Chama money, that Chama paycheck, So, but Jiri also, maybe he's in the same boat. I don't know. He doesn't do it for the money. It's all samurai spirit, warrior type stuff. But at the same time, I mean, I'm sure that was his fattest check to date as well. And also, he got knocked out twice. If anything, I think Jiri has a bigger gripe with that first fight stoppage because that was a close. I mean, Jiri arguably, or I think he did actually win that first round against Pereira, and using the takedowns. And, that was a kind of a quick stoppage in the second round. I mean, he did get cracked with the patent to the left hook, but I mean, it was a kind of a quick stoppage. Pereira kind of pushed him over and they stopped it. So it was kind of quick and he was fine, like I'm not saying he was fine. It wasn't trending good, but, he was in that fight. He was doing some good things in there. He just has that herky-jerky style, hands down, doing, just bobbing his head back and forth and kind of just eating punches and all that and just, getting cracked. And that's the thing. That's the reason I'm leaning more Jiri in this fight is only because I think Jamahal Hill definitely, he's a more crisp striker, meaning he throws a lot of straight punches. He gets a little bit more volume out there, like he's throwing the straight jab. He's throwing his straight left, which is his big punch. He has really good kicks to the body. He's a southpaw. He kicks really good to the body. Head kicks are good. And I could see him if he does sleep Jiri, it could be because Jiri's leaning right into that left high kick, just like Pereira knocked him out with. it could be a similar situation. I just feel like Jiri, the way he's going to kind of smother that space a lot, and Jamal's going to have to be going backwards a little bit more than dictating the pace, that Jiri is going to land something in those exchanges. They're going to have to exchange. I don't think Jamal has the best footwork because he kind of just moves slowly. You know what I mean? He's not like hopping around and like a boxer, like the way Yuri's kind of jumping around, switching stances, throwing like jumping front kicks and like teeps and shit like that. And I think that could be another big factor here. If Jiri could get that kicking game up the middle going, you know, get some Jamal something to think about, and also mixing the takedowns, like mixing the wrestling. And he also said that he's going to try and be a little bit more defensive, responsible, like keep his hands up a little more, like he wasn't against Pereira. And really, other than Pereira, like, yeah, he's been cracked a bunch of times and rocked even a few times. Glover, I think, had him hurt. Dominic Reyes had him rocked at one point before he freaking spinning elbowed him into oblivion, you know, just destroyed him. You know, so, I mean, that's the thing with Jiri. He has that game-changing power. I think Jamal hits hard, but it's more like a volume, like just constantly picking you apart. Like, I feel like if this goes 3 rounds, most likely Jamal Hill is picking him apart, and he might get the finish. Or he could get an early finish with, like, a head kick. I mean, there's definitely ways for Jamal Hill to win this fight. I just feel like Yuri's a little bit more like he could take that shot, and when he lands, this is game-changing. Like you see when he was doing the fight against Rakic, you know, he was kind of getting pieced up in that fight. But every time he did land, you could tell it had a serious effect on Rakic. Even in the Dominic Reyes fight, you know, same thing. As soon as he lands anything, he's beat Ozdemir. He's beat a lot of guys who punch hard, you know, and have good movement. So I feel like he can weather that. If he can weather that storm and land something huge and mix in the wrestling and the takedowns, I don't necessarily see him just like holding down Jamal Hill and ground and pounding him and just being able to like dominate him down there. Like, I'm pretty sure Hill would get up right away, but at the same time, just to have that thought in his head, that because he does have a really fast blast double, like just explosive with it, just boom, get it down, you know, take it down. So I could see him doing that and landing, you know, and landing some big shots, maybe a couple ground and pound shots that are big, you know, some heavy elbows, and I could just see him like really just knocking out Jamal Hill. I mean, we don't know Jamal Hill; he does have a chin. It didn't seem like he was completely out against Alex, but it's kind of hard to tell because he did kind of fall a little funny when he got cracked, and then when he hit the ground, I don't know if that woke him up, all the little ground and pound that Pereira threw at him, but I don't know if he was never completely out, but his eyes did roll back as he was falling back. I just think when he hit the mat, that kind of woke him back up or whatever, but he seemed like he wasn't, neither one of them were actually totally out. Even like, I mean, even the head kick, you know, Yuri got up and he stumbled or whatever, he wasn't like totally like flatline, like dead rat type shit, you know, but we'll see. I mean, this is an exciting fight. It's 50-50. And honestly, this is a 50-50 fight. And even all the shit I had been talking about Jamal, just because all the shit that, you know, he's been feeding the trolls. I'm not saying I'm a troll because I'm not, but I don't know, dude. I started after that Guru interview, and I'm starting to like this dude again, you know, like, because I was a fan before, you know, I was rooting for him against Glover, you know, I wanted him to win. And then against Pereira, for sure I wasn't, because I'm a Alex Pereira fan, you know, ever since I've seen him in kickboxing. But I've been watching this forever, like all sports, all fighting sports. So, like, I was just a huge fan of his. So I just, you know, going for him. It's not nothing personal, though. Like, I do like Jamal Hill as well. But Jiri, you know, he's got that samurai spirit. I just feel like he is going to be able to weather the storm or be able to land something big that's game-changing. Like, that's the thing. Because I think Hill will be more consistent with his striking. You know, he's going to land more consistently with whatever he throws. You know, like his body kicks, he might throw in some leg kicks here and there. I just feel like Jiri will land something that's game-changing and just fight-changing. It will change the direction of how the fight goes. And I don't think Jamal Hill wants to be going backwards against someone like Jiri, because I think Jiri can't time that takedowns. And it's not like he's such a crazy wrestler, but he has an explosiveness where he can just shoot for takedowns. Even when Dominic Reyes cracked him and had him rocked, boom, he took him down immediately. Same thing with Pereira. As soon as he ate one of those leg kicks, he wasn't feeling that shit. He wasn't liking that. He took him down. Like, so, you know, I think when he has to explode and do what he has to do, he's going to do it, you know, do whatever it takes. So if Hill doesn't get, unless it's just a different Jiri, you know, if Alex just changed him, made him gun shy and made his, you know, just killed his chin. I mean, he has a freaking pretty crazy chin. Both these guys do. Obviously, Hill never had seen him hurt before, other than the Pereira fight. So I mean, his last fight. So I mean, I don't know. Like I said, this is a toss-up fight. 3 rounds. I wish it was a 5-rounder with 3 rounds. I mean, that means these guys could go all out. I mean, so I could see if it goes past 3, if it goes into the third-ish, like the second half of the third, maybe Jamahal is kind of putting it on him and piecing him up. I could see that for sure. But I mean, I just don't see it going there. I think within 2.5, I think Jiri's going to land something game changing, and probably win by some type of ground and pound situation. Just land something huge, and maybe it would even just be an off balance type shot. Because like one thing, like everyone like kind of clowns on Jiri's defense, that he just catches punches, and Jamahal Hill hasn't got hit a whole lot, honestly, but he's not the most defensive responsive himself. Like he does lean a lot and lunge a lot with his left hand, with his straight left. He's reaching a lot, and this right hand's always down at his hip. Like when he throws, he's kind of just doing one of these numbers where he drops his hand a lot. So that leaves him open. That's why Alex was able to kind of duck that, move on the outside or inside. I can't remember how he moved it, but he made Jamahal miss by just an inch or whatever, and came in with that like kind of shovel hook, left hook, uppercut type punch that landed him, just barely cracked him. And it's just a timing thing and a punch you don't see coming. And the fact that fucking Thor himself is throwing that shit, Alex Pereira, so hands of stone. So, I mean, same thing with Jiri, though. He has crazy-ass power like that. He has heavyweight power in a light heavyweight. I mean, he has, a 26 finishes. He has a 1-inch reach advantage, longer legs as well, like 1.5 inches on his legs. Out of his 30 wins, like 26 by finishes or knockouts or whatever, So I think knockouts, actually, and he has a couple of submission wins as well. He submitted Glover in the 5th round, so it shows that he can go 5 rounds or 3 rounds tough, and he's just always going to be dangerous. Same thing with Jamahal Hill. He's a gamer. He's a tough-ass fucking guy, tough fighter. I mean, I would say he was a fan favorite. He's not so much now. I mean, that changes, though. Like he said, the crowd, the mob is fickle, just like in Roman days. Like, if he comes in here and starches Jiri, he's right back in there. I think that's his path. Yeah, if he does come out here and just starches Jiri, just smokes him, then, yeah, for sure he's back in that hunt for the Alex Pereira Chama Sweepstakes, and the crowd will love him again, like win the crowd, like basically some gladiator type thing, but Jiri already kind of has the crowd, win, lose, or draw, just because he has that weirdness about him, just the way he talks, I mean, it's hard, I don't even want to go there, but I was working on my Jiri impression. I'll have to unleash that one of these days, but yeah, he's definitely already has that kind of presence about him, his warrior Viking type spirit. So, I mean, he has that already. He already kind of has the fans. A lot of people, Jamahal, like I felt bad for Jamahal, even actually, I ain't gonna lie, like I said, I'm a Pereira fan, but I wouldn't have been yelling Chama in the crowd. Like that's messed up. Like I didn't like that so much. It was messed up to both guys, but it was obviously directed at Jamahal Hill in the press conference yesterday. Just Chama. Like, I mean, Pereira's not even fighting. We all know this is for the Chama belt. They both want that opportunity again. But at the same time, it's like, come on, dude. Like, I wish they would have asked Jamahal a little bit more. Like they didn't really ask him much. I mean, the press conference was too damn fast as it was, like 10, 12, 15 minutes or something. It was quick. Like, it was just a quickie. You know what I mean? And it was not saying it was the most entertaining one, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, you had Merab going back and forth. And, yeah, I mean, so, yeah, I think this fight right here kind of deserved its own video just because I'm just super invested in this fight. I wish this was the main event. I wish this was 5 rounds. I mean, I'm not saying I don't care about the other fights. They're good, but the rest of the card. But, I mean, this is a fight that I'm most interested in. You know what I mean? So, but, yeah, I'm going to pick Jiri. I mean, it's a close fight. Like I said, it's 50-50 right here. I mean, I would not be surprised one bit if Jamahal Hill puts out Jiri and cements his place right back at the top, But if he doesn't, then he's going to have some work to do even more. Either one of these guys, Jiri, he's lost 2 out of 3. Hill hasn't, people have short memories. So if he comes in and wins this fight, he's right back in the mix. If he loses it, he might have to take a step back, fight Jamahal Hill, fight that Khalil fight that, they were talking about before. So we'll see what happens. We got to see what's going to happen in this fight. But, yeah, I'm picking Jiri with like a TKO type of victory. I'm saying before the 3rd round. So, like, it's 2.5 to 3 round, that. If it goes past 3, I'm pretty sure that means Jamahal Hill is just picking him apart on the feet and kind of doing what he did to Glover and just beating his ass from the outside, and just making Jiri look bad. So that could happen too. Or he can land a head kick and knock out Jiri. So we'll see what happens. I mean, he does look laser focused. He does look focused in this fight. Both these guys do. Jiri always does. But they had the best stare down, the most intense stare down of the weigh-in. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who's taking this one? Who's getting that Chama sweepstakes? And all right, moving up in the card, we got Merab Dvaslshvili, the champ, bantamweight champ right now. Umar Nurmagomedov, Khabib's cousin. So he's like the runt of the litter, supposedly, type of thing. And sometimes that runt's the toughest one. You know what I mean? It's always like that. Your little nephew, your little brother, the little brother always gets beat up. He's the one that comes out to be the toughest. And you can kind of see that with Umar, you know what I mean? Like, he's definitely got some toughness to him. He's got the height advantage here. He's 16-0 or 18-0. Only had a handful of fights in the UFC. He beat Corey Sandhagen to get here. That was he was like number 1 or 2 at that time. And kind of Corey Sandhagen himself was kind of like a boogeyman type guy, like just a tough matchup for anybody. So it's like that was a tough one. And Umar made it look pretty easy, 5 rounds to none. I mean, maybe Corey got a round in there. I'm not sure. But, he really showed a lot in that fight. It wasn't the most exciting fight, but he did show his skills. And this fight, I think everyone's kind of sleeping on Merab just because, like, I don't know, you could kind of tell Umar is definitely under his skin. He's talking about he's more Georgian. It says a lot of disrespectful shit that Merab's not really liking too much. But, and Merab, I mean, he's coming off, like, an injury, like a surgery, I believe. So he has, like, some scar shit on his leg, some crazy-ass thing on his leg going on. So he might not be 100%. I think the UFC kind of, like, basically forced him into this fight because he was actually saying he wanted to fight O'Malley again. And, he didn't even mention Umar's name. So I think that's where Umar had the beef, like, kind of because it's been hard for Umar to even find a fight. Nobody wants to fight this guy because he's a scary guy in division. He's undefeated. You already know he's coming from Dagestan and Khabib's camp, so he's got some wrestling. And his stand-up game is actually where he shines. That's where he's showing, like, he has that great footwork, switching stances, great timing, and just that good distance management. And he just throws a lot of kicks, you know what I mean? So opposite of Khabib, actually, but he throws so many kicks, up the middle, the teeps, a lot of good boxing. That's where I think this fight's gonna take place. I think that Merab definitely probably will get some takedowns with his insane pace. If he has to shoot 50 times, that's what he'll try and do. And he will get some takedowns. I believe he will get some takedowns just because he's constantly pressuring, constantly going forward. But the thing is, like, I don't think, like, he does a lot of damage when he does get those takedowns. Like, he doesn't do a lot of damage. He just kind of holds you there, and then he just rinse and repeats, just keeps kind of controlling you with pace. But I think, Umar is going to be able to stifle some takedowns, and I think a lot of the fight is going to end up on the feet. And in that realm, I think Umar is just light years ahead of Merab. Like Merab, we've seen Henry Cejudo rock him. We've seen O'Malley actually hurt him to the body, later in that fight. And that's where I think where Umar is gonna have the most success is going to the body. Merab comes straight forward at that pace. Not a whole lot of head movement. Has a lot of kind of a unorthodox herky jerky type Keith Jardine type style. But also like a Khabib, just constantly coming forward with a relentless pace. But that leaves that body open a lot, kind of like with DC and John Jones. Same thing. DC was just coming straight forward, just eating body kicks in. And Stipe also exposed that weakness or that chink in DC's armor. I think the same thing with Merab. I think O'Malley, it was too late when he fought Merab, so he wasn't able to actually exploit that as much as he would have liked to. Like if he had landed those blows to the body in the first round, that could have been a totally different fight. That could have stopped Merab in his tracks, but O'Malley, he couldn't pull the trigger as much because he was worried about the wrestling. Well, Umar, this guy's training with killers. Like, he's getting big brothered and big cousined and big uncled, whatever. He's got Khabib, he's got everybody. He's got Islam, and the number 1 pound for pound guy in his training camp. So he's getting his ass beat all the damn time by these guys, and it's gonna make him better. No wrestling, like positions that he hasn't seen, or he hasn't been on the bottom before, like, you know what I mean? So he's already done it all and seen it all in that wrestling realm. So it's like he's not going to be as worried about their wrestling, and he has good wrestling himself. So he might even try to take Merab down or reverse some positions on Merab. You know, and Merab does train with some good guys. Aljo, I mean, Ray Longo, that team. I mean, they have a bunch of killers and all-time greats in that camp as well. So I mean, both camps have bred champions, you know. But I think in this day and age and this fighting style, the way that what Khabib's doing, one of the best coaches like out there right now, and the way they work and press, I just don't think there's anything Merab's going to bring that's going to scare Umar, or other than the pace and stuff like that. But I just feel like Umar's going to be able to catch him coming in, either hit him into the body, bust him in the face or whatever, and stop him in his tracks. And I think he either gets a TKO. I mean, might go the distance. Merab's a tough SOB, one of the toughest guys out there, the most insane cardio probably in UFC. But I could see Umar hurting him, and if he does get him hurt, either getting a choke or on the ground or just finishing him on the ground, because I feel like Merab, a little cheek in his armor, I think might be to the body. And Umar, he has the ability, and he won't like be afraid to pull that trigger. Like O'Malley is a high-level striker, but he was worried about that wrestling. He was worried about that pace, and you know he wasn't able to stop it that often. You know, I think Umar will be able to stop it, and we're gonna have an NU. And this is the worst possible matchup for Merab. Merab pretty much wiped out. I won 11, 12 straight. Yeah, his win streak. I mean, he's been killing everybody. You know, outpacing everyone, like tried 50 attempts or 49, 51 attempts on Peter Yan, who is a good wrestler himself and a good striker, you know. So I would say like Yan and Umar are a lot similar. I think just Umar has a little more of the wrestling background. So, I mean, he likes to wrestle a lot more, but like stand-up wise, I mean, Yan's right there too. So that's what I'm saying. I think Merab could try to push that pace like he did against Yan, but I just feel like Umar will make him pay a little more and keep him honest and stifle some takedowns and kick him to the stomach or punch him to the stomach and land something big up top. And yeah, we're going to have an NU. Yeah, that's my pick. I'm not sure exactly when. Could be early. I could see it in the first or second round, but I could also see it a little later, like third and fourth, after kind of wearing on Merab a little bit. He's not 100%. Yeah, he's going to come all out, but he's coming off an injury. So, I mean, I'm not making excuses for Merab. I'm just saying it is what it is. And, yeah, it's going to be NU, and I don't see anyone. I mean, there's other guys that might match up good with Umar. Maybe Aljo will try to come back and fight him. I mean, who knows? Maybe that would be a good fight. But, I mean, there's other guys that might match up with him. I just think this matchup is the worst for Merab just because of Umar's background in wrestling, who he trains with. And, yeah, that's why I'm picking Umar all the way on this one. But I do like Merab. I think he's good for the sport. He's a funny guy, but you can kind of tell that Umar is the, you know, he kind of gets under his skin. You could tell. You could tell Merab is definitely bothered by him, and it's personal. He's even saying it's personal. And I think that's going to play a factor. Umar seems like he's just like a straight-up fucking mafia hitman type dude, you know, just kind of like, you know, whatever. Like he's unbothered by anything. So I could see, you know, like he probably doesn't like Merab, but he don't care. He ain't afraid of nobody, you could tell. So he's got that freaking, like, I must break you. You know, like he's got that straight up killer look to him, man. I think he's gonna bring it. So, and that'll bring us to the new main event, which is Islam Makhachev against Renato. Money Moicano, motherfuckers. And man, how can you not like Renato? I mean, this guy would just come, like he don't give a like he said in the weigh-ins. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna be the new champion tomorrow. Like he just didn't care, you know, like who he don't care who it is. And the same thing goes for Islam. Islam knows he's the best in the world. He knows it. He believes it, achieved it, all that bullshit. He knows, you know, you could tell. He has that little smirk on his face, like he just has that secret, like ace up his sleeve. Like he just knows, like I'm better than everybody, and he don't care. You know, you got, like I said, you got to give respect to Islam for saving this card and not giving a fuck and being like, all right, I don't care who it is. Let's fight whoever it is. Whoever you could put Benil in there, he would have fought him. You would put whoever you want to put in there, he's gonna fight him. And Renato's the guy, you know. Renato, like, you know, like this. The one thing is though, Renato has a little bit of a size advantage. He's 5'11" to 5'10", inch and a half reach advantage for Renato. And I think Armand was right there too. He has long arms. He was a lot shorter in stature. So I mean, obviously, this is a totally different matchup than what Islam was prepared for. He was prepared for a stocky, shorter wrestler, fast-paced type wrestler guy, explosive, who could match him on, with the wrestling and explosive on the feet. Renato's not so much explosive on the feet. He has a jiu-jitsu background. He's kind of more like a Charles Oliveira, long, lanky, skinnier type guy, but is dangerous off his back or if he's on top. I just don't see him getting into those positions against Islam. Islam's just too damn good on the feet. He's not going to make a lot of mistakes on the feet. And Renato, I think he would need Islam to make a mistake on the feet and where he could catch him and capitalize, end up on top, maybe go for submission. I just don't see anyone like tapping Islam either because, like the same thing, he's seen it all and Khabib's big brothered him his whole freaking life basically. So, I mean, he's just trained for this shit forever. Like I said, he was bred for this. He was born for this and made into this. I mean, so the way these guys train, I'm not saying I don't see anyone beating Islam because that's the beauty of Islam. He always looks beatable, but somehow he always pulls it out, like I was saying earlier. So I just feel like Islam at this point right now, the only guy I really think that has a really good chance is like a Ilia Topuria if he moves up and they actually fight. I know a lot of people think, Ilia is a little guy, whatever, but just because of his boxing, he's got that little man freaking skill set and fast and just, like really precise with his boxing and head movement. And supposedly his wrestling is even better than his boxing. So if he could match him on the wrestling, Volk had success on him. And I thought Arman could have had success on him, but I was going to pick Islam. I just felt like Islam was better everywhere. And here it's the same thing. I don't see Renato being better anywhere as far as maybe he's a tough ass fucking guy. Like he has no quit in him. He's another freaking crazy tough guy. And he, like you said, I can't afford to lose. Like he doesn't want to lose, but I just think Islam's going to be too much. And this is game changing. This is life changing for Moicano. Like he's already starting to grow into a star with his podcast. He's great on the mic, smart, knows his economics, knows his Bitcoin shit. He talks about, politics. Like he knows a lot. He's a smart guy. And this is just going to put him even further up on the map, on that pecking order where he's just getting more and more popular, and this is great for him. He's going to start making way more money. He's going to start turning into being the money fight. And hopefully he just comes out and shows out and puts up a gritty-ass performance. Even if you go to the third round, fourth round-ish, he was training for a 3-rounder against Benil. Like I said, ironically, Benil, like a couple years ago, Aaron was talking about maybe him going up against Islam, but he's had a couple setbacks. So now he's out of that picture. Now Money Moicano just jumps into there, and he's ready to go. Like he said, I don't give a fuck. Like, he don't care, like, who he fights. And same thing for Islam. So, I mean, I'm picking Islam all the way. I'm thinking submission on this one. I think he's going to touch him up on the feet a little bit because, like I said, Moicano's a little slower. He's a little more patient, like he will take some shots of damage. I think if it ends up on the ground, it could be a little even. I just don't see him being in that top position where I think he needs to be against. I don't think he's like submitting Islam from his back. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that at all. Islam's just too technical. He don't take a lot of chances. He's not reckless like Khabib was, like just kind of just throwing caution to the wind. Like, he's methodical with, getting to the position. But he's you look at him, position before submission. That's Islam all day. And even on the feet, he's real technical. He kind of lays back and counters and has some good kicks. And I can see him rocking Moicano or touching him up on the feet, ending up on the ground, and just getting a submission, some type of choke. One of these choke, he likes the Darce chokes. He likes the head and arm, the arm triangles, rear naked. I could see him getting one of those type of chokes against Renato. He's also good. He's got Kimuras. He's got everything. So, I mean, and, like Renato, he's got some good jiu-jitsu himself, so he might be able to get out of some of those positions. I just think once you get hurt, like every time you get punched, you go down a belt. You're a black belt. Bing, let me crack you. Now you're a brown belt. Now you're a purple. Now you're a blue. Like there's levels to this, and I just think Islam's at the top of the level right now. He's at the highest level. And we'll see what's next for Islam after that. Is he gonna throw him back to Arman? I think Arman should fight Charles again, or something else. It wasn't as close a fight as a lot of people thought in my eyes. I thought Arman won clearly, took it clearly. But I still think that, like coming from, if you're gonna pull out a fight 24 hours in, whether it's your staff or your back or whatever it was, I mean, I think you might have to wait for a while after that because that's just, I mean, thankfully, they had someone already training. Like, it would have been nice if the UFC had someone already waiting in the wings, Justin Gaethje, but he just came off a loss. So it's kind of like, who are you going to put in there? Poirier's already fought Islam. They had a tough fight. Charles already got beat by him. So it's like, maybe if like Ilya was like in shape and ready to go at 155 and made weight, that would have been dope, you know, just to throw him in there, like, because it wouldn't have been too much to lose for him, you know, to save a card, like an Alex Pereira type situation, just stepping in on short notice. But Moicano was right there. Ray already trained and basically trained for another southpaw with good striking and great jiu-jitsu. Maybe not as great wrestling as Islam, or don't put it all together like Islam, but still a very worthy opponent and a game opponent. So, I mean, and Renato's been on the rise. He needs this if he gets this fight. I mean, I'm gonna root for Renato. I always root for the underdogs. Like, I'm rooting for Renato. I mean, I won't say I'm rooting for anyone too much now in Jamahal Hill, Jiri. If you asked me a week ago, I would have said I'm rooting for Jiri. Now I'm kind of like I said, I'm starting to like Jamahal Hill again. So it's like I don't know. I can't really just root against him right now. I don't know. I'm just gonna sit back and watch that one. I picked Jiri, but I'm saying I'm not rooting like, oh, I want Jiri to fucking beat his ass or anything. I'm not saying that. Same thing with Merab and Umar. Like, I'm going for Merab kind of. I do like Umar as well, but I always go for the underdogs. So it's kind of like, that's just kind of how I roll. So, like, same thing here. Obviously, if Moicano won, that'd be fucking insane. That'd be the biggest upset. That'd be like Holly Holm, Ronda Rousey type upset, I think. But I just think Islam's just too good right now, top of his game. I don't see anyone in the lightweight division that's in there now beating him. But maybe that Topuria fight will happen. Get Topuria another win, a title defense. Get him up there and beat a high-level guy, Charles Oliveira, whoever, like these guys he's been naming, even Dustin Poirier or somebody. And then maybe make that fight by the end of the year. That'd be dope. But, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. That's my picks. I mean, they're kind of a little all over the place. I'm a little all over the place right now. But, yeah, that's all I got. See you next time.